Good evening. Good evening, Erev Tov. Actually, I should have been in Philadelphia this evening. I had an event in Philadelphia that was very important for me. And there are three reasons I canceled my trip to Philadelphia and I'm here. The first is that I thought it will be outrageous to go to Philadelphia when Michael Solomonov is here in New York. Unfortunately, I understand that Michael caught the flu and he's not here too, but he's not in his restaurant either, so it's not a bad deal that I did. The second reason I am here, not in Philadelphia, is personal. I have a deep personal attachment to Bet Atfutzot. My daughter's bat mitzvah was in Bet Atfutzot. The bat mitzvah for the family, the bat mitzvah for the friends was with a very popular pop star in Israel. But the bat mitzvah for the family was in Bet Atfutzot, and she led a tour of Bet Atfutzot with the story of our family intertwined. But the most important reason I am here is the third one. And it is the incredible importance that I see in Bet Atfutzot and in the Museum of the Jewish People. And I will say it this way. There are a lot of persons that it's very popular to talk about the growing rift between Israel and American Jewry and diaspora Jewry. It may be true and maybe not. But what keeps me sometimes sleepless at night is definitely not the headline in tomorrow's newspaper about it. I can live with tomorrow's newspaper saying that there is a rift and happened this and that and an argument. That's not what really bothers me. What really bothers me and sometimes keeps me literally sleepless at night is not what is going to be published in tomorrow's newspaper, and there are some newspaper editors here. Hi, Alana. But what is going to be written in the book of Jewish history 100 years from now. And I am terrified by the thought that in the Jewish history book published in 2100, we will read that the Jewish people split into two tribes, almost disconnected between them, indifferent to each other. And since I see that at the greatest possible danger to the Jewish people, I think that every institution, every person, every leader, every project, every endeavor that contributes to educate Israelis about the importance of Jewish peoplehood and educates visiting American Jews of the importance of the Jewish state is something I must be at its cradle and contribute to it. Bet Atfutzot, the Museum of the Jewish People, is not just one more project, one more endeavor. I think it's one of the most central ones. And it is one of the most central ones because at its head stands one of the most clear-minded leaders in the Jewish people that I ever met, Irina Navzlin. Yeah, you can applaud. I had to come to New York to discover how Irina sees so clearly and so wisely the importance of Jewish peoplehood. I didn't know Irina in Israel. And when I will return, I will think that one of the most important lessons, one of the most important connections I made here in New York is with an Israeli, with Irina. We see eye to eye the future, the importance of the Jewish peoplehood, and I think that her contribution, and through her the contribution of Bet Futzot, the Museum of the Jewish People, is historic, no less than that. I have a definition. Jews debate very lengthy the question, who is a Jew? And there are those that say that the Jew is the son of the child of a Jewish mother, or converted this way, that way, or patrilineal. I have a completely different definition for who is a Jew. My definition for who is a Jew is a person that every year, around October and November, when the list of Nobel Prize laureates is published, counts how many Jews are there. If that's what you do, you are either a good Jew or an anti-Semite. For me, peoplehood is the most important essence of Judaism, and I think that the Museum of Jewish People, Bet Futzot, through Irina's leadership, will reflect that and will educate for that. Finally, I was asked to say a few words about food. If you look at me, you will immediately understand I am quite attached to that topic. It started in Argentina with dulce de leche, if you know what that is, but I am also a fan of Jewish food in all its variations, actually almost every food. So when I made Aliyah to Israel you all know the joke about the Jewish holiday. What is a Jewish holiday? They try to kill us, God save us, let's eat. When I made Aliyah to Israel in 1971 from Argentina, I had the need to get used to Israeli food. So the first year was falafel. It took me 2 years to relate too much to hummus. Then on those days, the top fast food was what we call then steak bepita. And finally came shawarma. Shawarma is for advanced, is olim chadashim. And I got addicted, actually, to shawarma. My wife and my daughter say that as much as the most, how would I say, the most unclean the place is, the most I like the shawarma. I reject that defamation. But yes, I think that shawarma is not a thing that you eat with a knife and fork. And yeah, the most, let's say, basic the place is, not necessarily unclean, but basic the place is, the better the shawarma. So it will not come to you as a surprise that the catering that we order for our events in my residence, I always ask him to bring also shawarma. And the guy that brings the caterer knows that I'm a shawarma addict, and he always prepares a plate for me before the guests arrive, and I have my shawarma delight. Then there was this occasion in which we had this event. I think it was of green NGO, preservation of nature, things like that. And I saw the shawarma, and I took the shawarma, put a lot of shawarma in my plate, and started eating. Something was wrong with that shawarma. I couldn't really pinpoint what was wrong with that shawarma, but look, I'm not going to eat that shawarma. Well, soon when the caterer saw me eating the shawarma, he ran desperately and said, no, don't eat it. I said, what happened? Is poisoned? No, it's vegan shawarma. So for a guy that was born in Argentina and likes shawarma that, you know, the trina drips from the bottom of the pita, vegan shawarma is really what our Jewish ancestors used to call Chilul Hashem. Never again. Thank you so much for coming to support Beit HaTfutzot. Let's wish Michael Solomonov bריאות שלמה, רפואה שלמה, and thank you so much for all you do for the Jewish people.